Good evening, fellow gamers. The war of Gamergate 2 is now upon us, an event that should have been a simple niche moment for a hobby spiraled into people unaliving themselves, and even the United Nations getting involved, has finally gotten itself a sequel. In my previous video, I made the conversation very esoteric, talking about a lot of philosophical ideas where Sweet Baby and Gamergate would put a small fraction of the actual video. At the end of the video, I did some finger wagging at some of the quote-unquote conservative-minded folks being unable to actually create art anymore, which allowed this festering wound to rot the way it did. Today's video will be an extension of that, but considerably less esoteric, as we talk about grifters, the people who seek to only profit off these events and nothing more. The main highlight of this is none other than conservative pundit Matt Walsh. If you have no idea who this guy is, don't worry about it. All you need to know is that this was his opinion in 2018, and it has not changed. Quoting him, "Video games are a sacred cow in this country and I'm tired of it." First sentence right off the bat, they have never been a sacred cow. They are in fact the go-to hobby to say someone is wasting their life. Our country is filled with adults who are obsessed with them, so we must all pretend, insanely, that there's nothing wrong with, or disturbing about, a child spending all day killing people in the virtual world. Of course it's harmful to the child. Citation needed. It's harmful to anyone, adults included. Will it automatically make a kid into a mass shooter? No, and nobody in the world has ever made that claim. Really? Have you not been aware of the past 2 decades from when you said that? And how often people try to link games to such things? But it's harming him, and we need to face that fact. Matt Walsh is the quintessential stuck-up neoconservative that will belittle you for spending any time painting a picture or playing an instrument when you could be spending that time in the coal mines. When it comes to anything arts related, he should be viewed as nothing more than a joke. So why are we talking about him now? Because with Gamergate 2 Electric Boogaloo, he smells money in the water, and he is ready to strike. He spent 20 minutes in a video talking about the current events with Sweet Baby and all the rest. Throughout the entire video, his whole tone towards video games was dismissive. He treated it as something lesser, something beneath him. He wouldn't say that SBI was corrupting video games. He would call propaganda that they're taken advantage of. I watched the entire thing, so I can personally say these are not taken out of context. Put in the clips before and after, and nothing changes about the face value of these upcoming quotes. I say that because it'll be relevant in a little bit. The most prominent quote, I feel, in his quest to push back against SBI in video games. Quote, "Only in the games industry, where everyone is dumber than in every other industry." This and the upcoming quotes were directly clipped and called out on Twitter, with Walsh having to say this. "I love it when people just completely invent shit I never said, or even come close to saying, and then get all mad about the thing they invented in their heads." Matt also went on to say, "The video games industry, with a lot of fanfare, has turned into a tool of both propaganda and surveillance. It's an effective way to indoctrinate children precisely because it has not received much attention." Again, going back in time, Gamergate made such an impact, the likes of Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn spoke to the United Nations. There's a meme that's been around for years now that says, "It all comes back to Gamergate," and unfortunately it's true, unironically true. He continued, saying, "So it should get a lot of attention, and now finally that attention is here. Thank you, Matt Walsh, because without you, no one would have ever paid attention to this." Here's the tweet he was responding to. For him to try and act like he was being taken out of context for not literally saying those exact words is disingenuous at best. Matt Walsh is the type of guy who, as a kid, would throw a ball at your head, and when a teacher asked if he hurt the other kid, he would reply, "No, I didn't even touch him." If you fall for such basic bitch level sophistry, I want you to know I don't respect you as a person. Matt continues in the vid, saying, "And it's yet another reason to keep these games as far away from your children as possible." Again, he says yet another reason to keep these games away. He's not saying your kids should play them. He is still on the one-track mind of making your kids stop playing. He doesn't want to fix the problems in video games. He wants video games to go away altogether. He is not a person who wishes to help. Hell, he's not even a person who even could help. What could someone like him possibly bring to any aspect of video games? Matt Walsh is a grifter. When it comes to the culture wars, he is the kind that revels in the constant fighting. If he had a way to end the conflict, he wouldn't. The true money is in the constant back and forth. Wait for the person to say something dumb. He makes a video calling it dumb, repeats the same things he has been saying for years ad nauseum. He is not a man who changes, He is not a man who actually does anything. If he was in George Orwell's 1984, he would be the type of person to lead the sheep into the 2 minutes of hate ritual. I'm using him as an example because he is a prime example, but not the only example. One of the things that demoralized me early in Gamergate 1 was how many people like Matt Walsh sprung up, and how quickly. You can make the argument that, back then, getting info out to people was important in this new event that was happening. Now, we're well past the point of information gathering. It's at the point where actions need to be taken, and I'll talk about that in future videos. For those who truly want an end to this nonsense, and who don't want to be caught in another endless loop of these people act, you and your side react, wait until they do something else. Rinse and repeat. If you don't want to be caught in that loop, do not make nice with the people who will seek to do that. Do not accept grifting roaches like Matt Walsh. They will only serve to keep the fighting going, while never doing anything to ensure its end. If you want to follow someone who truly has his pulse on the situation and is worth listening to, check out Grums on Twitter, real name Mark Kern. He isn't some armchair activist. He was the original team lead for OG World of Warcraft, the most impactful MMO that has ever existed, among many other projects. Story time. I once asked him via super chat, when did he know Blizzard began to go down the wrong path? He said it was when he was told to fire a bunch of employees. He said it wasn't what they were promised. It's not what's right, and it's not what Blizzard Entertainment does. That is not their company. The CEO replied to him saying, "We're a real company now. The corporate structure of business is one of the most destructive things I have ever seen." Anyway, Grums is a man on the inside, who still has connections, who has things leaked to him, and is not doing press tours to pump up his own name. I don't know of a better person right now that everyone should listen to on these matters. For me, I don't own a video game studio, yet, so I can't help on that front, unfortunately. These videos provide some help, I think, but my true talent lies in the tea that I provide you folks. You may have noticed the very subtle new graphics on the right side of the screen, talking about my website for my business, The Dragon's Treasure, a haven for anime and tea lovers. Over 100 different kinds of tea, many tea waifus, coffee, monthly giveaways, and more. If you want to support a business that directly stands against DEI, stands against companies like Sweet Baby, I am that company. Your support ensures I am able to make videos like this. I didn't make videos on this subject, Gamergate 1, the first time around. While it's not gonna be the only topic I cover, God help me, it will be something I will be touching upon more often, especially in the early days of this. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's do something more than merely complain about these topics. Let's make some game plans.